Too much rock and roll for the morning. It's Thursday morning, December 29th, 2022. I'm feeling a little grumpy this morning. 57 degrees in Florida. Tomorrow we get to go to the beach. This is a Junior Hockey Morning Show on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, hopefully in your room. I'm Stephen Heisler. My guest today, as it's been all week, is my good friend Eric Ballard. This is the day 4 of World Juniors. We've been analyzing the games a little bit. We've been picking winners. Well, I've been picking winners. Eric missed a couple. I missed a couple. He missed more than me. Good morning, Eric. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Stephen, buddy. Good to see you, my man.
Again, this is like 4 days in a row. And tomorrow, the show is going to be kind of strange. We're going to experiment with putting the show on the road. John Bocus has a restaurant over in Edgewater. And so tomorrow morning, we'll go over there, 6 o'clock or so, get the show lined up, have some coffee, and hopefully John doesn't kill us with his bad eggs. You know, I think Peggy's restaurant, if his wife is cooking, will be okay. If I end up bald on Saturday, you know he poisoned me.
Yeah, well, I don't think you've made Boki that upset yet.
No, the Boki's a good guy, but you know, if I lose my hair on Saturday, there's no hair there. I know I was cursed. So, interesting day yesterday. U.S. got upset by Slovakia. Canada woke up and rolled Germany. I think today's games will be interesting. The standings are as they are. Sweden in the Group A, Sweden and Czechia have 6 points. Canada 3 points. Germany and Austria nothing. Group B is a little tighter. Switzerland and Finland have 4 points apiece. Slovakia has 3. U.S. has 3. And Latvia has 1. 4 games on the schedule for today. Latvia and Finland. Both teams are playing the third game in 4 days. And so depth and endurance, again, will play a role. Who is better between the pipes? That's what's going to count today. Latvia and Finland. My pick is Finland. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, that's going to be a good game. I think Latvia's got some good goaltending. I mean, I'm not quite sure that young man can withstand 3 games in 4 days at that pace and that level. But I would say goaltending. Latvia might have a little bit of goaltending, but yeah, Finland is just, I think, got just too much firepower up front. So I'm going to stay on par with you and pick Finland.
You know, it's interesting that these top teams are getting challenged. Germany really scares Sweden. U.S. and Canada both have losses. I think this tournament is a lot closer in level of play than anybody imagined. Only one really dog in the pony show, and that's Austria. Everybody else is playing pretty good hockey. Sweden and Czechia play today. That should be the game of the week, probably. Both teams are 2-0. Sweden got into a heated battle with Germany Tuesday, while Czechia looked like they were going to just cruise to the pool play. I know you picked Czechia to win this game before. I'm picking Sweden. Are you still staying with that pick?
I'm still staying with Czechia right now, especially with the day off. I like the way they're playing right now, so I'm going to stay with Czechia.
All right. We're cruising right along. United States. Man, I don't know what happened yesterday. I saw an unmotivated team on the ice. And maybe that's just going to happen. You play a tournament like this and you're going to throw one dog into the pony show. Maybe yesterday was the U.S.'s dog. But, man, they looked ugly. They really looked ugly. Against Switzerland, Switzerland today has confidence. There's a degree of hope that the Americans will go in today's match with a little more effort than it did yesterday. Meanwhile, Switzerland will put it all on the line today. Look for Switzerland to give it all, 100%. Buzzer to buzzer today, and we'll see how that goes. I'm picking the United States, but Switzerland could make it interesting.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of counted, that game yesterday between USA and the Slovaks. I don't think anybody expected that, and It was a stinger for sure. And you know what though, this has happened to the U.S. before, where they've had one bad game in pool play and they've come out on top. I think that's a really good eye opener for them. That coaching staff's impressive for Team USA. I'm sure they're going to get those guys back on track. But take nothing away from Switzerland. Switzerland's 2-0 right now in pool play. And if any team's riding on a high right now, it's going to be the Swiss. So look for the Swiss to give it, the first 15 minutes, first frame. USA's got to make sure they don't dig themselves a hole they can't climb out of like they did yesterday with the Slovaks, and took about 2.5 minutes off, and they were down 4-2, and they never recovered. So, my pick's still in line with you with the U.S., but I really believe that the Swiss are going to make it extremely interesting.
They're a much better team than anybody give them credit for. They look good in the the exhibition games, but ahead of the tournament. You have to admire their perseverance. You have to admire just the way they're playing. They're playing as a team. They've been together for a while, clearly, where most of the teams have players scattered around the world playing. The Swiss and the Swedes really keep a lot of their high-end talent at home. And it's interesting. That Swiss league is getting better and better every year. And you see a lot of these young players are playing in that top-end Swiss league. And you have to admire what that country's done. They haven't been successful in this group before or at this level. And they're finding it now, and they really put in the work to get to this point.
Yeah, and I think this year's team has the most NHL draft picks of any other Swiss team in world junior competitions. So they've got a couple guys on that team that got some major upside, and they're carrying the weight. That big D man they got is extremely talented. Bieksa up front. I mean, that's a good team. And you're right, they do play well together. I like the Swiss, and if they weren't going up against the U.S., I'd probably maybe take the Swiss. But the U.S. is going to find their groove, and I think the Swiss are going to make it extremely interesting. But there's no question, they're much better this year than they've been in the past. But definitely got to stay with the U.S. team.
Austria 0-2 versus Canada 1-1. This should be a laugher. Austria is like giving up 20 goals so far in 2 games and scored none. Listen, after I saw Canada yesterday with their top player getting 7 points, that kid may just own that record today against Austria. Austria looks completely out of place in this event. This can be ugly today. With Canada. You okay?
Yeah, it just froze for me on my end. Yeah, there's no question. We talked about it yesterday, Steve. Canada, we had both agreed that Canada was going to come out hot and heavy, and that 5-minute major at the end of that second period just sealed the fate for the Germans. Like it was, one after another. They just kept putting pucks in the back of the net. So look for Canada to follow up again today against Austria for sure.
You have to win these kind of games for Canada. You can't let Austria get any hope. But on paper, it looks like there's no chance for Austria. But I wouldn't have given, the Germany a chance at all against Sweden. But Austria seems more out of place than anybody at the event. The rest of the teams, all other 9 teams, look like they're very competitive. The only team that's really hurting right now is Austria. So Canada should roll today. There would be no excuses for them not to. Will they score 11 goals? They could score 20 goals today, but I would say that they will score at least 8 today. So I'm picking Canada as well. So we have one conflict with Latvia and Finland, and my dog's going to bark in the background because my son just got home from Mass. So there you go.
Yeah, the only conflict is it's Sweden, Czechia.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right. Sweden and Czechs. But that's both teams are 2-0, and both teams are going to be ready to play, and that's going to be a fun game to watch.
So we have to do some side bets on this. You want to do push-ups or you want to do beers? In the old days, we should do lucky leggers, but that's not appropriate for this kids show, right? So can't do lucky leggers. And I remember those in Alaska. We tried to figure it out the puzzle under the bottle caps, and after 4 or 5 of those puzzles got real complicated.
No, never had the privilege of the lucky leggers, but I'll go with a dinner or a lunch in Florida.
There you go. All right. If let's go with Canada. Let's go with that game with Sweden and Czechia. If
That's
Czechia,
a game that we're in definite odds on, and I think that'd be the perfect one.
all right. If Czechia wins, we go to the restaurant of your choice, and I gotta buy. If Sweden wins, we're going to Pio Pio, the Colombian restaurant, and you gotta buy.
Sounds good.
And if you can handle the Colombian food, it's not too bad, not too spicy.
I like spicy food.
My wife doesn't even like black pepper. She's from Colombia, and black pepper kills her. She can't eat that. And poor Tomas and I, we're making our own jalapeno hot sauce in the house, and all these things, and she can't even be in the same room with us when we're making it. It's crazy. Well, folks, that wraps up today's show. We can small talk for 16 hours here with Eric and I, but you don't want to hear all that. So let's see what you have to say today. Why don't you pick the 4 winners from today and put that in the comments on the Junior Hockey Discussion Group, and we'll see how you guys do. And that's it for today. We hope that you have a great